Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm Zemore, the dad in DPS, and today we're back once again with another episode of The Good, The Scrap, and The Script. And today we're reviewing a weapon that was given to us kindly by General Kenobi. Hello there. And yeah, we're going to talk about that and see how well it does. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. So today's weapon is the Bay Blade. Get it? No? Alright, I'm just going to let rip. So, today's weapon, it's 50 armor penetration, 40% power attack damage, 1 strength, Ripper. Now, Rippers were one of those weapons that we didn't get the actual legendary effects for the longest time. So, it's one of those ones that people didn't use for the longest time because they were kind of naff. And like its older brothers, the chainsaw and the auto axe, this is an automatic melee weapon, so it has lots of utility and lots of things you can do in using it. I'm looking forward to seeing how well it does damage. Now, if you don't know, when you use your Ripper, your chainsaws and all that, that is actually power attack damage, so this benefits constantly from the plus 40% power attack damage, making this a Godroll. And very interesting, we're going to see how this slices through enemies. So, before we get into it, let's check out the build. As you can see, this is the build. Look at it, look at it, look at it. This is what we've got. You know, nothing interesting, nothing, like, drastically different from any of my other melee videos. This is what we've got. Now, I forgot to say before we start this video, I am using food buffs during this as well. It is very important with melee that you're using food buffs when you're doing anything. And you're seeing from this weapon, you know, it's like all of your automatic melee weapons. Just go up and sort of rub it on them and see how it goes. This one looks like a bit more of one of those stupid back massagers than the chainsaws that you've got in the game. But you're seeing, like, it does very, very good damage. It kills them very quickly. And that armor penetration is just incredibly powerful. Granted, it's not the best effect that could be on there. I would have preferred vampires, like as I do with most of these types of weapons, because it's just so much more viable in terms of keeping you alive. But look at this Super Mutant champion. Look at him just completely disintegrate. 3-star freaking legendary, and he just gets completely eclipsed by this weapon. It is just so good at what it does. And it's a very slept on weapon in comparison, because again, its bigger brothers are far more powerful in terms of them being two-handed weapons, but at the same time, you know, you don't need to use the absolute best weapons at all times in this game. You are absolutely fully justified just taking out some of the slightly weaker weapons and seeing how well they do. And this one is no different. It just completely annihilates things with no effort whatsoever. Alright, it's time for Jeff to meet the Ripper, and we're gonna just yippee get. Oh god, it's Legendary Jeff. Legendary Jeff is that much harder to kill and more likely to game end me, but we'll just go at him and see what happens. And you're seeing, like, this is not doing particularly bad against Legendary Jeff. Legendary Jeff is Jeff's. Oh, he's blocking me. You think blocking me is gonna prevent your death, Legendary Jeff? No. Again, this was a legendary version of Jeff. Like, what you normally see in terms of me dealing with him is nowhere near as strong as this one is. So, that did incredibly well. I'm quite impressed with how quickly that took him down. So, we're at the Queen. Now, with this weapon, I think the best thing to do is just cut off the band-aid and just start wailing on her. And hopefully, we don't get murdered. And you're seeing, like, this is a level 100 Scorched Marlar Queen. And she is not doing very well against us. She is actually getting completely and utterly devastated. This is how strong this weapon is that it's capable of absolutely annihilating enemies like that so quickly. And this is the thing about the automatic melee weapons, is they are incredibly strong. And this one, even though it's smaller, even though it's not quite as strong as its big brothers, is still incredibly strong. You don't think I would finish the video before going into how this thing works in expeditions, as you're seeing. Like, the big boys that are in here get absolutely shredded. It is no different from any of the other melee weapons I test. Like, these guys do not do very well against them. And you're seeing, even a big Braino gets completely obliterated. But, you know, it's not full testing unless I go up to the humans and give them a back massage with the little weird weapon that the Ripper is. You know, instant death for them. Instant death. Now, let's talk about some of the downsides of this weapon. Obviously, it uses AP to, like, use it. In most cases, that's not going to be an issue, but if you're ever in cases where you're using, like the build I'm using, where dodgy is taking my AP, then it can sometimes cause me to not be able to use it for a couple of seconds, then I need to back off and kind of things like that. But realistically, in most cases, this thing is an absolute monster, and most enemies just don't get a chance to really have a chance against me. Even the big overgrown keeper there got completely annihilated very quickly, and this is just the nature of automatic melee weapons. They're strong, they're very strong, and they should be. Like, literally, if somebody came at me with a little handheld chainsaw and hacked off my arm, I'm gonna die. Let's be clear here. Like, it is strong because it should be strong, and I think this is a weapon that, if you're not using already, is definitely a little good one to use on your arsenal. And something that I didn't think I was going to really talk about would be the weight of it. So let's look at the weight of this thing. So we're looking at 5.76. Let's look at the chainsaw. So you're looking at... Jesus Christ, why is that 0.96? That is so weird. It is not reducing the weight of it as much as it is the chainsaw. Well, that's 90% weight reduction. I'm being completely dumb. Let's see what an actual chainsaw is. I've got one here that shouldn't be... Yeah, 9.6. So you're saying it's also a lighter alternative to the bigger fellas. I genuinely was shocked there. I had like an existential crisis. But this is literally a lighter option to your other weapons, and carrying a bunch of rippers is less of a problem than carrying a bunch of chainsaws, just because you have that extra 4 weight on there. So having one of these, you can then have other weapons on top of it, which I think is a good thing for definite. So there we have it, the anti-armor, power attack, 1 strength, Ripper. It is one of those weapons that I don't think it's underrated. I don't think people underrate the Ripper. I just think it's very seldom used because of its bigger brothers. But there is a reason to use it. You know, it is a good one-handed option for a auto melee weapon. You can use it as like a sidearm for, you know, the Blue Ridge branding iron, if that's your one-armed build and things like that. And this is just a good alternative to the other automatic melee weapons that are out there, and I think it's very slept on. It doesn't get the credit it deserves, and it's just a very, very powerful weapon in this game. Either way, guys, if you have any weapons you'd like me to review, or have any questions or things to ask about this weapon, definitely leave it down in the comments below, and we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.
Through the dark, moonlight's dimly shining, a shadow creeping. Feel your hearts entwining, a twisted mind, seeking prey to devour. In the dead of the night, he gains more power. His bloodshot